Deputy DA Anne Marie Rosa, with a lesson on California Penal Code, Section 288A, lewd or lascivious act with a child under 14 years, commonly referred to as child molestation. Child molestation is a horrific crime with devastating impact on its victims and the community. Please see the lesson in this class on mandated reporters of suspected child abuse. As described in the jury instruction from Cal Crim 1110, 2025, to prove that the defendant is guilty of this crime, the people must prove that 1. The defendant willfully touched any part of a child's body either on the bare skin or through the clothing. Or, the defendant willfully caused a child to touch his/her own body, the defendant's body, or the body of someone else, either on the bare skin or through the clothing. 2. The defendant committed the act with the intent of arousing, appealing to, or gratifying the lust, passions, or sexual desires of himself, herself, or the child. And 3. The child was under the age of 14 years at the time of the act. It is not required that he or she intend to break the law, hurt someone else, or gain any advantage. Actually arousing, appealing to, or gratifying the lust, passions, or sexual desires of the perpetrator or the child is not required. It is not a defense that the child may have consented to the act. Examples include an adult male places the hand of his 8-year-old stepdaughter on the crotch of his pants. A 7th grade teacher gropes a student's breasts through her clothes. An adult female kisses the inner thighs of a child she is babysitting for the purpose of causing herself sexual arousal. Under the law, a person becomes 1 year older as soon as the first minute of his or her birthday has begun. A minor under age 14 may be convicted for violating Penal Code Section 288A on clear proof of the minor's knowledge of wrongfulness and the minor's intent to arouse his or her own sexual desires. CPC 26 in Re Randy S. 1999. A defendant charged with a lewd act on a child under Penal Code Section 288A is not entitled to a mistake of fact instruction regarding the victim's age. People v. Olson, 1984. Each individual act that meets the requirements of Section 288 can result in a new and separate statutory violation. For example, if a defendant fondles one area of a victim's body with the requisite intent and then moves on to fondle a different area, one offense has ceased and another has begun. There is no requirement that the two be separated by a hiatus or period of reflection. People v. Jimenez 2002. Intent is one of the most difficult elements of a crime to prove. Factors the jury can consider include the context in which the touching occurred, whether the defendant and the alleged victim know each other, the nature of the touching, and the absence of an innocent explanation. Possible defenses to this crime. The child is lying. Often the case hinges on the child's credibility. This is especially true where there is no confession or physical corroboration. To determine whether the child is truthful, my team will inspect the child's school, counseling, and medical records as well as emails and social networking accounts. Interview the child's family, friends, schoolmates, and online contact. Conduct a background check of the victim and any alleged witnesses. For example, Jimmy gets charged with Penal Code 288 after his 12-year-old stepdaughter, Louisa, reports that he fondled her breasts. An investigation reveals that prior to the alleged incident, Louisa texted her friends that she hates Jimmy and has a plan to get him out of the house for good. When this evidence is discovered, I may dismiss the case on the basis of false allegations. Another defense is that there was no intent to arouse. Penal Code 288 only prohibits contact made for the purpose of sexually arousing them or the child. If they did not intend to sexually arouse or gratify themselves or the minor, it is not child molestation. For example, Samantha's 12-year-old nephew Rye finishes swimming and takes his trunks off to change. Samantha sees what appears to be a rash on his penis. She holds his penis with her fingers to examine the skin. She is not doing this to arouse either herself or her nephew sexually. Even though she touches his sexual organ, she has not committed a crime. I'm Deputy District Attorney Anne-Marie Rosa, and that is your lesson on PC 288A. If you or someone you know needs help, call or text the National Child Abuse Hotline at 800-422-4453 or go to https://www.childhelphotline.org.